You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
Right. Welcome back to the Nerds Podcast. I'm Pooba alongside Pete. Cole's out saving the world, so we'll catch him on the next episode, hopefully. And we are going into uncharted territory, and we're talking about Alien Earth, the series that's on Hulu FX. If you enjoy the channel and you like the conversation, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as we continue to cover movies, shows, and games that we love. Thank you to the 300 plus subscribers that nerd out with us weekly. We passed that threshold, so I want to give a shout out to our subscribers as well. And yes, Pete and I are here to cover episodes 1 and 2, which are called Neverland, and a great baseball reference, Mr. October. So this new series, which is on Hulu FX, goes deeper into the whole Alien universe. This actually takes place 2 years before the 1979 Sigourney Weaver movie that we know to be as Alien. We'll do our best to break down everything, and if we miss anything, please feel free to bring it up in a discussion below in our content. So let's kind of start. Episode 1 starts out with the swiping green text that we've historically seen in these Alien movie franchises. And in the text, we get about the future, about immortality, which comes in kind of 3 forms. The first one, of course, cybernetically enhanced human being called cyborgs. They're like a claw that has enhanced something as a human. We see that in that security captain, Pete, and Morrow, where you see him kind of pull out a knife. He did the bag thing, which again, we'll get into that a little bit as well. There's artificial intelligence beings, and we've kind of seen them historically. They're the guys that spew out that white blood that we see in these alien movies. And now an introduction to what they're calling hybrids, which is synthetics being downloaded with human consciousness, like we saw in Wendy. So, Pete, I got to ask you, there's some debate whether this is something we're going to be able to cover and watch. Did you have any hype around it? Did you even enjoy watching the show?
It was, I'll give it a 6 for me on the excitement level. I'm not grading the show a 6. I would say maybe a 6 or a 5 on the excitement level. Like you said, were you looking forward to watching this? I didn't, it's one of those things you hear about, didn't really pay attention to it until you suggested we cover it. Because I haven't really seen this, I know this is based on the Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver, like you mentioned earlier. Not a movie I've seen multiple times to know it, like other movies that I've seen. I'll give you just an example, not the same genre, but the movie Animal House. I can recite that movie, from beginning to end. It's one of the best comedies I've ever seen, but this doesn't fall in the same category for me. Same thing with Jaws, and we covered 50th anniversary of Jaws. Of course, that movie came out way before your time. It came out before your time, and
we know where I was swimming.
I was, you were swimming somewhere else. You didn't have to worry about, a shark, but it was one of those movies that I'd probably seen once, but don't remember too much about it. I know this is more like it's a franchise thing. Same thing with Predator. You see other iterations of Predator. Same thing with Alien, and this is another one of those things.
Yeah, and listen, as we watch this show, Pete, there's going to be hints and they're going to lead to another Predator Alien, either TV series or show. So look out. There are some hints of things that I'm noticing on this show, which I might just jump on it. But listen, the show started off a little bit confusing to me. I'm not going to even lie to you. It felt something straight out of 1979 still, the way they show the cast at first. So it looked exactly like the movie that I remember seeing nostalgically as a kid. So kudos to them, but that's what jumped out to me at first. Like, I thought this was the same setup. Was there anything nostalgic for you as a child or remembering your Alien movie as you first saw it?
No, not really. Just, when it came out, when the alien, showed itself for the first time. That was basically it for me. Nothing. Like I said, this wasn't one of those movies where I'm super connected to it because I didn't see it multiple times.
Yeah, no, I've seen Aliens multiple times. Now, if you go into 3 and 4, you're gonna lose me just a little bit. But I remember 1 and 2 because it was the first time I thought a second part of a movie was better than the first. But they set up this story very differently with children that are battling fatally diseases and moving their consciousness into synthetic bodies, basically making them immortal, and hence the word hybrid here, as they're using these 3 ways of living out your lives. And that's coming from, I think, the Prodigy company. So there's different companies. We've known the Wayland one for a long time because of the Alien series, but this kid, this trillionaire they call Boy Cavalier. What'd you think about that, Pete, when you saw them moving the consciousness of these kids into a synthetic body?
Well, it's somewhat like, isn't it somewhat very similar to Avatar, isn't it?
Yes.
Very similar to Avatar. And you brought up Aliens being the sequel to Alien. And if you look at the guy Kirsch, he looks like Billy Idol to me. I actually thought at first, I was like, is that Billy Idol? But I know he's a little bit older.
I thought it was Fergie's husband.
No, well, I thought it was Billy Idol. Then I realized who it was. Now,
Yeah.
just funny thing that you brought up Aliens. If you see the movie Scream 2, they're in film class and they're discussing which sequel is better than the first. And they bring up Aliens as being one of those instances where the sequel is better than the first. But the fun fact here is Kirsch is actually in that class because he's in that movie discussing the sequel to Aliens, and now he's in a spinoff of Aliens.
Full circle. That's what we do here in Nerds Podcast. We bring you full circle.
But he's not Billy Idol. He's
not Billy Idol. No. But as they're chasing immortality, Pete, we see Wendy, in a sense, after that whole body transferred. Yo, she jumped from like the side of the mountain straight down to the beach. That was filmed really dope in that sense. No superhero landing, not needed.
Yep.
Straight up on her feet.
Yep.
What'd you think when you saw that?
No, I kind of sensed that's what she was gonna do. Just to give us like a demonstration of how enhanced they are right now. Just that, she didn't climb down. She just, she just took a step coming down some stairs, and she landed, like you said, no superhero landing, just landed normally.
Yeah, no. So we go from there to pretty much the demise of this crew that is being demolished by the xenomorph, the alien in this case scenario. My man, who's supposed to be head of security, seals himself off first as the alien is trying to bomb rush him in. Yo, I see. I again, this is where my alien lore kind of loses me. I thought if they drool on you, it's acid, but it's actually their blood is acid, not their drool. So he got a little gee on the face as he was closing it down. I thought that was pretty cool to see how he was gonna escape this. But did you think he was gonna get off, or did you think that the alien was gonna get him?
No, I thought he was gonna get, being that he was, the last survivor, being that he didn't, save that girl that was trying to get into the room. I figured he was gonna be the last one standing, but it was, it was a close call, set her up to fail, which is kind of cruel if you think about it. No, you have the ability to help somebody and you just watch them die. But he had a bigger purpose.
Well, he's synthetic, so he's like very much like
motionless.
He is Jarvis in a sense, right? He's just a computer walking around. That was more, but we Joe, and I'm hoping because Joe DiMaggio, because I was a Yankee fan, so I'm kind of going with this, the fact that his name is Joe for Joe DiMaggio. But I've never seen a ship so big crash into a city. Like, think about the things that you've seen, and the scale level of that ship was the size of 2 buildings put together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever seen on camera that? Like, I can't think of a time where I saw a ship of that size crash into a city?
Not off the top of my head, no. But yeah, the visuals look great. Again, this seems like it's a pretty big, a pretty big show for FX. Again, like I mentioned before, the franchise. They have a franchise here, and they're continuing to build off of that. But it doesn't look like they went cheap with this. Timothy Olyphant is the guy Kershaw I spoke about earlier.
Billy Idol.
What was that? What was that?
I said Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. Yeah, he's an A-lister, and he's in the show. But it seems like it's a pretty big step for this franchise. Like you said, it could branch off into something else after this, but it's just another another entry on their resume for Aliens.
Yeah, I can tell you this much. From what we've seen so far, they threw some money at this show. It's not visually, it's not a cheap looking show at all. And it's kind of very cool kind of see all the kids now, and they kind of took off the whole Peter Pan thing with the Lost Boys. So she's Wendy with the Lost Boys and the whole you'll be a kid forever in this body, the whole concept. I absolutely got that one. That one came across in the sense of a theme for this show. But in the sense of the military guys that kind of went into that crash that we just talked about, the little ticks that got into the guy's neck. Oh my God. And then you see it getting fat. Like, again, I've seen that with mosquitoes on me. So, as if anybody doesn't know on this show, I live in Florida. So Florida is kind of known for our mosquitoes. They carry a little bit of weight here. Kind of like New York and their rats, they carry some weight over there too.
Yeah, you can't compare the two.
Man, that thing was getting fatter and fatter. I felt bad for the guy because I know that Moro had locked them up, and they had no choice. It's when the second one fell on the guy's head because you knew what the demise was going to be.
And his hands are tied. He can't do anything. He was trying to stand up. It's not like he can take his hand and get it off of him. He's like you said, he's tied up. It's an eerie thing to just sit there and watch, even though we know it's a show. That was tough. That was tough.
You know what I actually liked visually about these first two episodes, in a sense, is the way the xenomorph moved. Like, there are scenes you're watching and you're kind of watching into the dark, and it reminds me of the Game of Thrones when you were kind of in the Battle of Winterfell, when you're just staring into the dark and you're thinking you're seeing something move and nothing was moving. Like, did you catch yourself like, man, I didn't see him there? Well, did you catch yourself?
Well, from what I noticed was they would just focus on an area that was dark and then kind of zoom in. Kind of when Hermit wasn't ready to make that jump with the other two, and that hole was in the ceiling, and they just continued to zoom in on that part, and until of course it came through. But yeah, I kind of figured they were coming through wherever they decided to focus on.
That I want to talk about that, bro. That scene where he's leaping towards him at the same time that they're jumping, and he didn't make the jump. Mm-mm. And that thing still hit the floor. He ran into the elevator. I was like, run! Let's go! Oh man, that was, for me, that was a dope visual in that sense. You know what I'm saying? That was a phenomenal visual there to see the xenomorph really fully extend himself. Like, you think about these alien movies historically, we don't really see too much of them that way. Like, this one went on a killing spree in episode 2, bro.
Yes, definitely.
I did want to get into a conversation when the boy Cavalier was talking to the doctor, right? And he was talking about the reason him making these children into the synthetics. Because he just wanted to talk to someone that was actually smarter than him. Like, take me to that conversation. What are you thinking in that sense? Because I can see where some of the big minds of today can feel that way with so much AI. but this guy actually wants to make someone to talk to him.
Well, he was, came across as a douche. I mean, I think when what you just said, oh yeah, I want to have an intellectual conversation with somebody or somebody who's smarter than me. And she said, oh, thanks. You're talking to me, but this is not good enough for you, is what you're telling me. So, I mean, what is it? It's 21. We're in the 21, the 20. What I forgot what exact date we were in the setting of this show, but it's way into the future. So again, it was just to see that there. I'm not surprised that there are people in that time period who have that thought process of, yeah, you know what? If I want to have a conversation with somebody smarter than me, or an intelligent conversation, I can just, make that on my own. I can produce that, and that's what he did.
No, that was again. I'm always intrigued in talking to people every single day when I talk to them, and to think to create something that you have to do just to, I can understand why, in particular for him, he's taking the path. But at this point, that's an obsession, in my opinion, not anything else more than that. But I want to get into another creepy thing, the scene with the cat. And I know that you're a cat lover. You have the fourth man of the show. I always call him Lucas there. Did you expect to see that thing pop out of its eye?
Whew. It was just, I mean, you kind of knew something was going to happen, that they focused on it. Yeah, I think we saw it earlier in the show, and then this thing, and it came out of the cat. But very weird. But again, this is what Aliens is that's something that's one of these huge pop culture references is the alien coming out of the stomach from the movie, and we see the xenomorph now, making its return in this show. And like you said, we haven't seen it like this before, because it's going crazy on everybody. It is pretty gory.
It's a gory show, yeah. I would say definitely.
It's a good thing Cole didn't see this, because he wasn't going to dig it. But yeah, I mean, again, it's
What freaked me out was when it would turn into multiple eyes. It was one eye, then it went into many eyes. I was like, what the hell? Like if you ever wanted to make a spider creepier, good job.
And they were able to capture it, which I thought the girl with the red head was done when the red hair, when it got onto her hands and was trying to attach itself to her face. I was like, yeah, she's done. They were able to get it off, and they captured it.
She was shook. She was holding that knife, sitting in the corner there, just staring at it because she was shook. Daddy, absolutely correct. There was one scene in episode 2 that confused, and I don't know if it was needed, and it was the aristocrat party. Like, they have a ship. I thought it was, I'm gonna call it bullshit on that part, where there's a ship going through your building and you're still throwing a party because you think you're high and mighty. I don't know if that, I mean, the soundproof that building must have in each house, but as we talked about gory, I'm going to go into that one scene where, again, they threw me off with the aristocrat party, and then the xenomorph is on the statue. Didn't even see him at all. And he was there. He was there the whole damn time, but it kind of threw me off. And then the guy just turns around and gets his face chewed off.
Bro. Oh yeah, that was probably, when I say gory, that's what I was really talking about. That was the goriest part of the first 2 episodes for me, because when they show him staring at it, I was like, they're gonna show his face, and they showed his face. Or what was left of it. It's pretty gory show.
No, man, that was, and the way he went through the party, like when you look back and then it jumped again, I can't stress enough how good the xenomorph looks in this show. Like, I'm going to give it credit.
Well, a lot of these shows now, and, I had read an article about people not really digging remakes, but this is not a remake. This is just another chapter of a franchise. But and we've definitely mentioned this before. The technology now that people that these production companies can use to make these things, especially if there's CGI involved, creatures like a xenomorph, they're able to make it look as realistic as possible. And this is no different. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised it looks good, because it does.
Yeah. No, I'm still curious on why. I understand why the xenomorph went through a hermit, because he had the body on top of him. But what I don't understand, which was one of the dopest scenes, when he actually made the bag over the xenomorph.
Yes.
With his gun, that was pretty dope. I've never seen that before. So again, first time seeing something. What I didn't get is why the xenomorph didn't kill him. When they got behind them after they killed the Marine guys and they ripped out the bag, it went behind him. There are a couple of things.
That's a good. I mean, he did say that they're attracted to fear. Maybe he's not showing as much fear as the ones he went after. Not sure.
I could tell he was shook, but because he's synthetic, it could be he doesn't even have a gland
to
give that. Or the only other time that I saw that a xenomorph didn't attack Sigourney Weaver, and I want to say it's Aliens 3. It's because she had the thing inside her. She was pregnant with the alien. So again, don't know what that is. We'll stay tuned for that to make sure that we kind of understand that. But I saw him do the claw, and he pulled out a knife from his hand. So he must be Inspector Gadget. Like, that's what I'm gonna call him maybe moving forward. Inspector Gadget. We saw the xenomorph eggs. Don't know how they got there, because according to the 1986 movie, you need a queen to lay down eggs. I don't get it. But then we get to my favorite part in this whole series. He finds a 1977 Reggie Jackson baseball. And then he's reminiscing with his dad, and they show Mr. October. And the whole concept behind that was about proof that the world gives a moment and time for everyone to shine. Like, was that dope for you? You're like, man, they're actually talking about the 77 Yankees, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. And I think that's what they're trying to make Hermit to be. He's going to be Mr. October. He's going to come through in the clutch when we need him the most.
They brought up, he went into detail about the 3-homer game in the World Series. But yeah, we do baseball references here. And this was cool to see. This was definitely cool to see.
Yeah, the tie-in of it was like, wow, what the hell does this have to do with aliens? But I get it. At this point in time, someone's gonna have to step up in this moment, hence the Mr. October. But the other part of this, and I'll wrap this up with this, is her friend, the Indian one, didn't want to shut up and spilt the beans because they're kids. Like, he didn't know how to keep his mouth shut. And I did like the way she portrayed it, that childlike mind, but still an adult body. Like, out of all of them, she's doing the better job of it, of course.
Yeah, she's the leader.
Yeah, she's definitely the leader. But the way he was second guessing it, right? Like, if you could bring back your loved ones into a synthetic body, we've had this conversation on the Ironheart when we talk about it. Like, this is kind of like new territory, kind of creepy territory. In a sense, would you want to see that again? Like, would you want to see someone that you knew in a synthetic body, but their consciousness is still there? Is that different? Is that different than the Ironheart thing?
No, I think when you do that, you're playing with, you're playing God there. And, just appreciate, I mean, of course, to be selfish, you would say yes, but just, be appreciative of the time you had with the people that are no longer with us. That's how I'll say it. I don't want to, again, like, I feel like if it's not meant to be, then we're not putting those in those scenarios.
And that's real life. In the sense of that nature, I agree with you. That's real life. Hermit gets tackled by the xenomorph, and that's how we end episode 2. Pete, So now this is going to be a save mission for the rest of the series, you think?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I mean, again, you said there were eggs. Only the queen can lay eggs, so I'm sure we're going to see more. I'm sure there's more out there. There, those pods hanging from the ceiling. So I think we're going to see a lot more coming up. So we got 6 more episodes to go.
What I want to see is more gun action. I love those machine guns that they had. They brought me back from Aliens 2. I want to see some more of that action as well. For Pete, for myself, for co-saving the world. Take us home, Pete.
We will return.
The worst episode ever.